Alright, so I want us to quickly work on the group chat functionality. So we want to first of all make sure that once we click on this icon that we are about to fix here, we should be able to open up the create group chat modal here. Then we can use that to create our group chat, right? So in order for us to be able to work with that, what we are going to do is we need to go to the conversations list like this. Let us come scroll down. So this MD outline group add, this text gray, we'll set that to 600 like this. Alright, and then you can see that is showing up right here right now. And right after setting that up, what we quickly want to come and do is we want to come here, quickly come here and add this prop. So we say users, then we set that to the type of user, and that is going to have to come from the client side. So yeah, so prisma slash client like this, and then we apply this empty array right beside it like this. Then we'll just come down, say users, and then bring our comma. Then we can now use this users that we have right here. Now first of all, we'll say what const is modal open. So const is modal open, set is modal open like this. Okay, and then we equate it to use states, and we set that to false as its default value. And right after doing that, what we are going to do is you need to come to this aside right here and wrap it around an empty fragment just like this. And right at the top over here, what we are going to do is what we are going to pass in a component we are about to create, which is what the group chat modal, just like this. Group chat modal, just like this. Alright, then inside this group chat modal, what we need is we need to pass in users, passing what users just like this. And inside here we would say is open, and then we passing is modal open, just like this. Then inside here we say on close. So on close, then we pass in what we pass in this empty parameter arrow function, and then we say what set is modal open to be false like this. Alright, so now that we've been able to set these three bad boys up, right, what we are going to do is inside this aside, we want to come to the div that basically allows us to add the group chat icon, so that we want to pass in an on click function right here, so that when we click on it, we can just toggle the modal. So we'll say what set is modal open, and then we set it to what to true, just like this right here. Alright, so now you can see it says group chat. Okay, I think we have to spell that well. So yeah, it says group chat modal doesn't exist. So what we'll do is we'll just copy the name right here, and then we'll come and create our group chat modal inside our conversations and a component right here. Right, so let's come and then create it right here, .tsx, just like this, right, just like that. Then what we'll do is our rafce let's make sure that we mark it as a use client. So use clients just like this. Then let's go back into this conversation list and let's quickly add it to the file just like this. Awesome. So now that we have that, what we are going to first of all do is, so you can see group chat modal shows right here, right? So what we are going to quickly do is we need to set up the interface for it. So say the interface group chat model, group chat model props, just like this, and then inside we say what is open, then we set that to a boolean just like that. Then we say on close, set that to void just like this. Then users is going to be user, then array, then is open, then we set it to what, on close, and then we set it to what, users, just like this. But don't forget to make sure that your component recognizes it by saying what, react.fc, and then you pass in what, your group chat modal props, just like this. Then inside here, what you want to do is you want to come and say const router, just like this, is equal to use router, like that. Then make sure it's coming from next/navigation. If you do it next/router, you get some unnecessary errors you don't want to face in the future. So we say const what is loading, like this, set is loading, like that. Then we equate it to use state, then we set it to what, false, just like this. Then once we are done with that, we can quickly just go to, we'll go to form.tsx and go and copy this. So come and copy this bad boy right here, and then we can come and paste it right here. Alright, so yeah. Alright, so we just imported both of these from React Hook form, and we are going to just change like a couple of values. That is, the default value here is going to be name, and the next default value is going to be members, and then we pass in what, an empty array right here, like this. Then right after doing that, we have this register, handle, submit, and form state, right? The next few things that we want to add is what, watch. We want to add watch, and we want to add set. Okay, yeah, so watch and control. Yeah, I want to add control, right? So right after being able to set this up, what you want to quickly do next is you want to come down and then say const members. So you want to quickly use the watch to watch the members here, right? So we'll say members, and we will say watch. And what are we watching? We are watching this members right here. So you need to make sure that this spelling, and this spelling is the same, so you don't face any unnecessary errors. So right after setting this up, what we are going to do is we are going to create a function that says on submit, right? This on submit is basically going to be what, submit handler. So submit handler, like this, from React Hook form. then we take it from like the field values just like that. Then inside we are going to collect this data parameter like this, and we just create an arrow function just like this. So inside here you want to first of all set is loading to true whenever you submit, fresh like that. Set is loading to true. Then right after you want to come down and then do your Axios action. Alright, so let's quickly import Axios from Axios like we have at the top here, and let me check, make sure that the microphone is recording. Yeah, it is, so we can move on. Right, so Axios dot post, then inside here I would quickly just do my slash API slash conversation just like this. Then we come here and pass in the items into the object, the body, sorry, the items into the body. So we take whatever we are taking from the data, and then we make sure that we pass in another last part called what is group to true, so that it stores it as a group chat. All right, because if you remember, if we go into our route.ts and we go to the conversations one, you remember that we are checking for is group at certain points, and then based off of this checkings, that's what we are going to be using to create our group chats, right? Nice and clean. So now that we've been able to set this up, what we are going to do is you're going to come here and then write our .then. So right after we're able to do that, what else do we want to do right after? So we want to quickly come and then say what router dot refresh just like this, and then we run on close just like this. Nice and clean. So right after that we can come here and say catch, then inside this inside this catch like this, what do we want to do? We want to take the toast, so we can just take the toast like this dot error, and we can set it to what something went wrong like this, and then you can come here and do your catch just like this. Yeah, we already have catch, so do your finally. Okay, so finally, and you set what is loading to false. Alright, so now that we have our on submit function all set up and everything, we can now come and work on our actual modal right here. So inside here, what we are going to do is I'll just open up this bracket after cleaning the old text up. Then we'll say what modal, you have to import this modal from the place. So you just imported it like this, nice and clean. What we are first of all going to do is you're going to pass is open to is open like this, and then inside here we pass what on close to be what this on close right here. Nice and clean. Right, so inside this modal, what we are going to do is you're going to create this form element, and then we are going to clean up the action that we have right here. Right, then we are going to make sure that here we are going to be passing in on submit. So on submit, then this on submit is basically going to be what handle submit that we are getting from this use form right here. If you scroll up, you can see that it's right here, right? And we are doing that because, so like this, we just bring this bracket and then do on submit like this. Like I said before, we are doing this because we want to access whatever that we pass into the form through this data parameter right here. All right, so understanding this, we can just come inside here and then create our first div. So our first div is going to be having a class name of space dash y dash 12 like this, and then inside this we are going to say what, this div, we're going to create this div and give it a class name. So give it a class name of what, border b. So border b, just like this, border gray. So border gray, yeah, let me rewrite. So border gray 900 over 10. So we are just doing some opacity tricks right here, and pb dash 12 like this. Right, so basically you can see that it's somehow gone or something like that. It's no more at the top here. If we want to see, we can just click on this and it should be able to allow us see our modal, but we are not sort of at the right place yet. So I don't know, I'm trying to refresh it so we test it out. You can see that it is right here right now. Right, nice and clean. We can now move on. So inside here, what we first of all want to do is add this h2 element right here, and then inside this h2 we want to pass in a few class names. If we can just say create a group chat. So create a group chat, just like that. Then we can pass in the necessary class names needed. So we can say what, text base, just like this. Okay, I'm coming. So text base, just like this. Then we have our font semi-bold, just like this. Then we have leading 7 right here. Then we have what, text gray 900, just like this. Alright, so looking at this, looks nice and clean, just like that. Then the next thing we want to be able to work on is we want to come down right below this h2 right here. We'll create this p or paragraph text. Then we'll come inside and then we'll say what, class name. Then inside this class name we want to pass in what, mt2 text sm, just like this. mt2 text sm, then leading 6, mt2 text sm leading 6, text gray 900, just like this. And then okay, let's make this 600 is way better. And then inside here what we are going to say is what, please fill out or fill in the details below to create a new group chat. Create a new group chat with more than 2 people, or with 2 people or more with more than 2 people, I don't know. Yeah, all right. So it's like, you see, you can't create a group chat with 2 people, because like that would be the same, conversational chat, right? Like private individual chats. But luckily in our case, it's like how we set it up favors us in a way that we can just add 2 people and then automatically adds us up to create the group chat, right? So that is basically it. So we can just move on. So now that we have this all set up, what we quickly want to do is we want to come below this one and then we create this div, and then this div is going to have a few class names. We have mt10, right? We have flex, we have flex score, then we have what, gap y8, just like this. All right, then okay, then inside here what we want to pass is our input component that we have already created. So I just want to import that. I want the snippet to show up, so you can see it's just here, and you can see that we just imported it right here nicely. So the first property that we want to pass through is the label, and then for the label we want to say what, group name, just like this. And then inside here we want to copy and paste, and then we change this to name right here. We change it to name, and then we change the name, sorry, we change the id change the id, and then we change the id here to name. And right below, what we are going to do is we are going to pass in errors, and then this error is going to be what, the error that we have in our, oh, going to be the errors that we have in our field errors or field values inside the use form hook that we have above here. Nice and clean. So right after setting that up, what we want to do is we want to come and then pass in what, register, and then we'll set it to the register, the hook form, the register that is inside the use form, right? So then right after that we set the disabled to the is loading state right here, just like that. And the last thing is we say required, because we don't want to be sending data to the server when we have not typed in the group name. So we can check it out by clicking on this, and then okay, I'm going to refresh it first before we can be able to access that. All right, so okay, so yeah, looking at this input that we have here, you can come and test it like this. You can see that it is right here right now. So this is the group name, nice and clean. Then right after, we are going to create a new component called the select component. But before that, let us come to the bottom here, so div and form in between, and then we are going to be passing in let's create the div right here, and inside this div, right, we are going to have a class name. So let's quickly create a class name here, right? Then let's pass them inside like this. We are going to say empty dash 6 flex, then we're going to say item center, just like this. Then we say what, justify end, just like this. Then we say what, gap, so gap x6, just like this, nice and clean. Then once I refresh and we check it out, so what are we going to be passing inside? We're going to be saying what, button, and then this button is going to be coming from the button that we had created as a separate component. So we just import that button just like this, and then inside what we are going to pass in is what, cancel, just like that. And then inside this cancel, what we are first of all going to say is going to be a secondary button, just like that. And we set the disabled of that button to be when the when the form is loading, and we want to set the on click of it to run this on click function right here, or to run this on close function right here, right? So right after setting this up, what we want to do is we can just copy this and paste it here. Then we can do what, we can write create, just like that. We remove this secondary, we keep the disabled on there, and then we remove the on click and instead change it to the type submit, just like this, nice and clean. So if we refresh and then we try it out, you would see the buttons right here. You can see cancel and create right here. So let's quickly come and work on the select component right here. So let's say select like this. All right, then this select, we are not going to be importing it from anywhere. In fact, we are going to have to create it from scratch. But once it's here, we need to pass in a few props, a few attributes right here. So what are the attributes? So the first one is we need to pass in the options, right? So the options is going to be equal to what? We are going to first of all, so we'll map to our users. So users.map, right? Then we take each user, and then we'll just do this. I will now open up this bracket, and then we passing what? Value. The value is going to be user.id, just like that. And we are going to take the label, right? So we are going to take the label right here, then user dot name, just like this. All right, so right after setting this up, what we quickly want to do is we just say disabled, and then we set the disabled to is loading, like we've always done. So it's loading, just like this. Then we set it to is loading. Then we see label right here. Then we make sure we set that to members. Okay, members, just like this. Then we'll come and then set an unchange. So this unchange is going to be done like this. So we first of all want to take a value prop, just like that, and inside we want to set a value, right? We want to set value with the one that we got from the use form hook right there. Then we want to set the first arguments to be members, just like that. We bring our comma, we say what? Value, and then we pass in this object by saying what? Should validate. Then we set that to what? To true, just like this. All right, so now that we have these ones right here, we can just set the value to any. Right, so now that we have these ones right here, right, the next thing we want to do, or the last thing we want to do, is to just pass in what? Value, and then we pass in the value to be members, just like this. All right, then let's quickly create our select component. Now what we are going to create it is, we can just minimize this, go to components here, like inside your app folder, component inputs, right? Then inside this input you can create a new file called what? Select.tsx, just like this, right? So inside the select.tsx, let's make sure it is a use client component. It's a client component. Then we just say what? Our AFCE to generate it, and then we'll come inside here so we can get rid of it. We'll get rid of this error right here. So we just imported it above right here, right here, right? So right after importing it, the next thing you want to do is you want to say interface. So interface select props, like this. Then inside you want to take the label as a string, just like that, right? Then you want to pass in the value. So the value is going to be an optional property, and we say what? Record, and it's going to be string or any string, comma any, just like this. Then we can come and copy this over and basically change this to options, just like this. It's the same, but yeah, let's make sure that this is mandatory. and then we just make sure we pass in an array at the end, just like this. Then we will come down and then say what disabled. We set our disabled to be an optional boolean, just like this. Then we say what on change is going to be having the value of what is going to be having a value right here, and then we set it to what record. So you can just come and pass this inside, just like this, and then we can just do our arrow like this, right? So we've been able to, yeah, let's correct this spelling just like that. I just copied it, and yeah, we can just pass it inside like that. So react.fc, and we can just pass it inside like this. Alright, so right after doing that, what we can do is can just pass in the label just like that. We have the value, so we have the value just like that, and then we have what options like that. We have disabled just like that, and we have on change just like that. Alright, so now that we have all the properties in here nice and clean, what we want to quickly do is let's quickly create the component. So inside what we want to do is we want to quickly come and say what div, and then this div, okay, I want to create it with a snippet. So yeah, this div is going to be having a class name, and that class name is what z. So it's going to be z 100, just like this. Then inside we want to have a label, then this label, yeah, so like this. Then this label is going to be label just like that, and then we can pass in a few class names. So the class name is going to be what block, it's going to be block, then text sm, font medium, leading 6, then text gray 900, just like this. So let me quickly oh, I didn't mean to. So we can just bring it this one right here, nice and clean. Let us quickly refresh. Okay, it should show up right here. It says it says options. Okay, reading. Okay, that is kind of weird because like cannot read the properties of undefined map. I mean, I know we are not done with it, so I mean, we can quickly just work on the other stuff, and at the end of the day we can just continue. But at the end of the day we need to be able to justify this, because this is coming from where it's this basically coming from this user side right here, and then we scroll down to here, and then we are taking this users from the above, right? We're taking it from the users just like this, and then which is coming from here. So it actually sort of doesn't make sense like that. So yeah, I guess we are just going to have to complete everything for us to see the changes, because even if I bring the question mark here, I just wish we could preview it. Alright, so okay, I think the question mark actually fixed it. So yeah, so let us look at it. So you can see that it's here, right? You can see members right here. Right, so inside here, what we are going to do is right under this label right here, we are going to add one more div, which is going to be a self-closing div. So right here, then we just close it up like this, then we say class name like that, then we set it towards empty2, just like this. Right, then inside we say react select, but this react select that we are just adding right now is a component that is a package that we have to actually install. So I'll just bring up the terminal, I'll split it up real quick, and then the first thing we want to do, or the thing we want to do, so we just want to say npm I react select like this. Then let's not forget our legacy peer depths, just like that, and then that should basically enable us to install react select, right? So while it is being installed, I feel like we can just continue. Then once it's done, it will just, you know, add it up into it automatically. So we say import react select from react select, just like this. So import react select from react select, just like this. Then right after we are done importing it like that, what we want to do is we can just close it up just like this. Then we come and pass in the necessary attributes. So we see what the value is going to be, value just like that, going to be value just like that, and on change is going to be on change. Then we say is disabled, is going to be what, disabled, just like this. And then we'll come here and say is multi, then we continue by passing the options. Then right after we want to say menu portal, so menu portal target is going to be what, the document dot body, just like this. Then we set the style, so we see styles is going to be equal to what, styles is going to be equal to menu portal base, right? Then we can just pass it in like this, dot 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 base, just like that, and we can say z index is going to be 9999, just like that. All right, nice and clean. So right after we've been able to set that up, we want to come down here and then pass in class names. So the class names is going to be equal to what, so it's going to be control, then we are going to open up this arrow function here, and then we set it to what, text sm, just like this. All right, I don't know if it will show up, if it, okay, so it just came, right? So this is basically it for select right here, and then based on this we should be able to create a group chat. All right, so if I click on this is the group chat name. We can test it out by giving the group chat name to be the Diddy party, and inside we should be able to have the users. So let me cancel and refresh. I set it to be cancelled, so I don't know why it's running. So yeah, so let me check the options. Okay, this is quite weird because for the members here, okay, so what I want to do is let me come here and go to the group chat modal and take out this question mark right here and try it one more time, because I can see it's kind of not being able to identify the users. So we are still getting that weird error that says that it can't read the the undefined users, right? So what we are going to do is okay, I have an idea. So I'll just bring the question mark here, I'll log out and then log back in. Alright, I'll just log out and log back in. I think this is just log out like this. Yeah, I'll just log out, or just so we don't waste too much time, let me just pause it, and then once I figure it out. Oh, okay. Alright, so I did figure it out, and I realized that I forgot to do something. I forgot to, you know, help you do something. So what we're supposed to do is, if you take a look at this, you realize that we are getting the users through a prop over here, and then we use this prop inside the conversation list right here, so you can see it here, and we passed this prop inside inside this group chat modal right here, and you realize that this conversation list is being used somewhere else, right? We are taking these users to as props, right? So like, how are we passing them down? And that is because when you come to the layout.tsx here, you realize that it says that there's a prop that is missing, so we just have to pass users slash what, then pass users inside like this. But where are we getting these users from? We are going to be getting these users by saying what, users, so const users is going to be equal to get users, and then this get users is going to be imported, and then we just initialize it like this. Let's make sure we await it appropriately, just like this, and then we should be just fine. Alright, so this is how we are going to be getting the users nice and clean like that. You can see that the arrow is going, right? So yeah, so that is basically it. Then once we open this up and we try to create a group chat, so we have group name, the dd party like this, then we can add members just like this, and right after this, right after adding our members, we can just create the group chat just like that. Okay, it says something went wrong. Let us quickly find out what it is that went wrong. Let's try it one more time. It says 404. Let's go inside here. Let's go inside, and okay, so let's go to the route of conversations, and 404. Okay, it's not part of, okay, that is weird. Let us just refresh like this. Okay, let's check API slash conversations, right? Conversations. So conversations, or let's check let's make sure that it's the right one. So let's check. So API slash, yeah, conversations, right? Conversations like this, right? So yeah, so that is basically it. To see the dd Then let's add a nice user to the body. Let's add soluservant to the body, and we'll just create just like that. Okay, still something went wrong. Let's find out what the error is. Yeah, group chat modal right here. It says API slash commit. Okay, so I want us to quickly log out the error, or I think we can log out the error over here. So inside, let's come and log out the error like this. Okay, I want to use so error, and then you can come and create. Okay, let's find out what was wrong. Says that okay, the payload argument with the type object received as null. Okay, so it looks like we are not able to pass in the right information or the right payload, right? And in order for us to be able to make sure that we are passing in the right payload, we need to basically go back into our modal and then check to make sure that everything make sure everything is in check. So let me quickly, so it says okay, let's quickly go back to the group chat here. So we are basically taking in the data. Let's make sure that we are taking in the data. So I'll just log out data like this. I'll just log out the data, and let's try to create like a test group or something. And then create. Then let's go no, all these windows opening. So come and check what we had inside. So I don't want us to waste too much time, right? So let me just figure it out and pause it. So when okay, so we did do, so you remember when we had this error right here? It looks like I mistakenly changed it to name just to test it out. So let's switch that back to user.id, and let's just take out this console log right here. We can go to the route.ts and get rid of these bad boys here too as well. Yeah, those were very funny errors we were experiencing right there. So let us quickly refresh, and now we can now create our DD party and let people attend. So yeah, actually planned this for it to be kind of funny, but yeah, the errors messed it up, so I guess we just have to move on. So yeah, the DD party, and then let's add our attendees. Then we can create, then that should basically create our group chats for us. And you can see that it's not showing. That's because we've not made a real time yet. So I'll just refresh, and then you can see that this is the DD party that we have right here, nice and clean. But it's just that we have one more problem, and the problem is we don't want the DD party to be just one user's image like that, right? We don't want it to be just one user image just over here like that, right? So what we want to do is we want to create a component, right, called avatar group.tsx. Then we'll use that avatar group to replace this for every group chat, right? So let's quickly fix that. The first thing that we want to do right now is we want to go into our components. So let me just collapse everything. come to the app, and then we go to the components here, and then inside the components we are going to create avatar group dot tsx, sorry, avatar group like this dot tsx, just like this. Then inside we can just set it to what, use client, like that, and we can come here and do our RAFCE. So RAFCE, just like this. And then right after setting up our avatar group here, what we want to do is we want to create the interface. So the interface is going to be what, avatar group props, just like that. And then inside we'll say users, which is an optional, and we just pass in what, user from what, prisma slash client. Then we add this array here, this empty array notation here. Then over here we just make sure that our component recognizes it, right? So we say what, react.fc, just like this, and then we pass in avatar group props, just like that. And inside we would say what, users, just like this. And then inside we come and say what, selected users is equal to what, users dot slice, then we have 0, 3, just like that. All right, so these selected users are basically, it's just taking the users that we get from here, and we just want to select the first 3 users, and with these 3 users that we select, we are just going to be taking their properties, that is their images, and then we are going to be displaying them in a certain kind of way. So let's quickly create the positions for their images. So we'll say what, position map, just like this. And what we are going to do is I'll just open up this curly brace, and I'll just set for the first user, let's set it to be what, top 0, right, left 12 pixels. So top 0, left 12 pixels, just like this. Then we see what, 1, then that one is going to be what, bottom, like bottom 0, so bottom 0, just like this too as well. And we set 2 to be what, bottom 0, so bottom 0, and then right 0 as well, just like this. Right, then once we are done setting it up like this, what we want to do is you can just close, you can just cut this off like this and open it up like that. And then inside, what we are going to do is, inside here we just pass in this div, and I'll just create like this class name, relative, like that, and h11 and w11 like that. Then right after that we want to quickly come and create our sliced or our selected users. So we take our selected users like that, and then we'll map through these selected users. Right, so we'll map through these selected users like that. Okay, then inside we pass in what, we pass in a div, just like that. Oh yeah, I see what is going on. Let's take this one out. Yeah, I see what is going on. We have to basically create this, that, Okay, so let's remove this, remove that too as well. And okay, so this one closes this. Okay, I'm coming. Let me quickly remove to this part. Let's remove to this part just like this, and we'll just close it up here, right? Okay, I'm coming. Yeah, let me do it like this. Then inside we can come and take our selected users like we planned, selected users, and then we would quickly map through these selected users, right? So map, and inside we take the user and then the index, then we come out and then we come and open up this bracket right here. Then we pass in what? The div, right? So this div is going to be having an image, right? And then this image is going to be we are going to have to get this image from next/image like this. Then inside what we are going to say is what? Fill. Then we want it to be src fill, then we want to be src, then we pass in what? User.image like that, and we want to say, or else just go to /images /what? User.png like we have, and can just cut this and come here and say what? Alt is going to be user.name like this, or it's going to be what? Avatar, just like that. Alright, so now that we have this, let us quickly come to our div right here and add certain attributes like that. So we say the key is going to be what? User.id like that. Alright, user.id. Then down here we set the class name, to be what? An absolute. We're going to set the class name to be an absolute. So say if we like, can just do it like this. So just make sure that this is what? Absolute inline block. Then we set it to rounded full like that. Then we say overflow hidden just like this. Then we say what? H21. So H21 pixels. We can just copy this over and set this one to what? To be width 21 pixels just like that. Alright, then right after we can just come and see that inside here we want to do a position map like that, and we want to set it to be index as key of. So key of type of, just like that, and then we set it to what? Position map like this. Nice and clean. So now that we have this all worked out, what we are going to do is, so first of all, going to go into the header.tsx. If we want to, that is, the header.tsx should be the conversation. Like if we have an actual conversation, what will show up here, right? At the top right here. But okay, if we don't want to do that first and we want to see the results immediately over here, what we want to do is we want to go into the user box right here. Then this avatar that we have over here, what we are going to do is we're going to create this quick data.isGroup, or like this condition, right? So you can just say data.isGroup, right? So data dot is group. Okay, if it's not data, it will be either conversation or or it's not the user box that we need. Just kind of confused here. Just kind of confused. So yeah, it's basically not the user box necessarily. I think we have to go into the conversation box. I'm sure, is it the conversation box? Let's try to go to the conversation box, because I wanted us to make sure that once we do this, we can see, okay, so it's definitely not this one. It's definitely not this one. So let's go to the conversation box instead. So conversation box right here. Let's scroll down to this. Yeah, so this avatar right here, and we can say what data, right? Data dot is group, so it should show up right here. So so it's right here, and then we would basically pass it inside like this. So inside here, you want to make sure that you're passing this inside, and then at the other side right here, you want to pass it in as what? You want to pass it in as avatar group, just like this. I want us to be able to import it. So avatar group, we need to be able to import it. Okay, I don't. Okay, yeah, avatar group like this. Then we set our users. So we say users. sorry about that. So we set the users to be. We set the users to be data dot users like this. Then that should basically do it for us. Then once it refreshes, we should see the results reflect in our eyes. So now that we have that all worked out, we can just go into our header. So you can see the difference has been made here, the change has been made right here. And then right after that, we can just go into our header .tsx right here, and let me just take down this terminal. Then we'll go into so inside the header.tsx, inside this avatar right here, we can just come here and see what conversation dot is group right here, and we should just open this up, and then we can just pass this inside like this, and then we can just copy this over and say what avatar group, import that, set the users to be what conversation dot users, just like this, conversation dot users just like this. Right, so now that we have been able to set it up like this, we can now go on to our profile drawer. So how do we see the changes? If I click on this conversation right here, and it navigates us to the main chat, right, the chat box right here, it should be able to navigate us by now. So so here we are, and then you can see that this icon has changed, and that is what we did over here. And so from here, what we want to do is we want to change the profile drawer over here. We want to change how certain things look inside the profile drawer right here. So what we'll do is just go to the profile drawer just like this, go to the profile drawer just like this, and right after going through, so what we are going to do is at the point where we see the avatar inside, so over here, right, let's go to this place and just copy. You can just copy this and then paste it here, and then change this to data, change that to data, and then we are good to go. And then right after setting that up, you want to come down and to scroll down to SMPS6 right here, right between this side, this SMPX6 right here. Then I want to come down and then create this div. It says avatar group not defined. Yes, that is true. Avatar group is not defined because we've not imported it. So let's quickly import it. Where did we? Yeah, let's import it real quick. Nice and clean. So it's going to refresh. I just imported it. So now that we have this over here, let's look at this SMPX6 like this. Then down here we are going to say div. I'm going to create this div. Then inside this div right here we are going to have dt. So say dt right here. You can see the changes right here. You can see. Then inside this dt you're going to be passing in a few class names. So class name. Then what are the class names you are passing in? We say text sm, just like that. And then we have what? Font medium, font dash medium. We have text gray 100, just like this. Okay, text gray 100. We have SMW40, just like that. And then we have SM flex shrink 0, just like that. And inside we are going to be passing in what? Members. So members, just like this, just like this. Alright, then right after passing in our members, what we need is we're going to come down here and say dd. Then this dd is basically going to be having I think we should just create them, then we later add a class name. So we say data dot users dot map, right? So we map through these users right here, right? Then inside we say user, then this user we are going to say equal to, then we open this up nice and clean. Then we give it the div right here, right? So we create this nice div inside. Then inside this div we pass in what? The avatar again. And inside this avatar we say what? User is going to be equal to what? User, just like that. And we can just, so user is going to be equal to user. Nice. Then right below we can just pass a span. Okay, it's not showing. We can refresh and then do it. So we can just pass in a span, just like that. And then inside this span we can just pass in what? The user dot name, just like this. Alright, then right after we can just come and pass in the necessary attributes. So we can set the key to be what? To be user dot id, just like this. Okay, let's make all the changes so that when we refresh we can just refresh at once and see the changes take place. So class name, then we are going to set it to what? Flex, and then itc, just like that. Nice and clean. Then for the span user name we just give it a class name like that, and we just say that we want it to do what? ML2 to like that. Okay, so let's quickly refresh, and then you can see the changes that we just made. Okay, so you can see these are supposed to be the users. We have to be displaying, oh, let's make this some 600 or something, or 900. Okay, so these are the members. Let's make it 500. Let's make it 500, and basically the dd class names right here, and we have what, mt2 like this, then we have text sm just like that, text gray 900, oh, text gray 900, oh come on, text gray 900 like that, and we have sm cool span, we have sm cool span, and sm cool span 2, and then we have gap y6 just like this, then we have flex, and flex cool just like that. Right, so when we preview, once it's downloading and then we preview, don't worry, all we need to do is refresh, and we should see the beautiful changes that we have made right here, right now. So yeah, I mean, that is basically it. I feel like the gap is a little too big. Let's bring it down to like 5, right? I think I don't know, I feel like the other one feels way better, because I thought, I thought it was a little too big. Oh, wait, this thing doesn't refresh fast, it doesn't refresh fast enough, I don't know. Yeah, I think 5 looked better at some point with a fast refresh. So yeah, now that we've been able to set that up, right, the next thing we want to be able to work on is we want to make sure that inside a conversation, so let's go into this conversation like this. I want to make sure that when we click on this right here, it would open up as a big image modal right here. We can preview or see the full image. You can see the full image display, right, as a modal itself, right? So what we are quickly going to do is, we can just come into we can go into our message box right here, and inside the message box, what we first of all need to do is we are going to create a prop here. So sorry, a use state here, and then we'll see what image modal open just like this, set image modal open just like that, and then we say what use state, and we set that to false just like this. And right after doing that, what we need is we just scroll down like that. We just scroll down to the message right here, and what we are going to do is image modal like this, and we are going to create this image modal in a second. But before that, let us pass in a few props. So we say src is going to be equal to what? It's going to be equal to data dot image like that, and we would say what is open set to image modal open like this, and we'll see what on close is going to have to be what? We'll just take this arrow function here and we'll say set image, set image modal open to be false, like this. Nice and clean. Then we want to make sure that once we click on the image right here, so on click, we should be able to display the modal. So we'll say what? Set image modal open to be true, like this. Alright, so let's quickly go and create our image modal. So for the image modal, what we go into is inside this conversation here, the components of this conversation ID here. If you can't see, this is what I'm talking about, this component right here. What we'll do is we just come and create, so we'll say what? Image modal right here .tsx, like this. And then inside we want to just come and create our interface, or okay, let's generate the component first and then import it. Then when we are done importing, so we just generated it, we are going to quickly import it like this. Okay, then once we are done, we want to come and then create the interface. So the interface is going to be what? Image modal props, like that. And then inside we say what? src string null, like this. And then we say what is open. This open is going to be what? Boolean, like that. Then we set onClose. We set onClose to be what? This, like this. Nice and clean. Alright, so right after setting this up, what we want to do is we want to use react dot what? fc. Then we need to recognize this component exists, so this interface exists. So I'll say what? Image props, just like this. Then we can now pass in all the necessary things we need to. src is open and what? onClose, just like that. Oh, onClose, just like that. Nice. So now that we have this, what we want to do is we want to make sure that if there's no src, we just return. So if there's no src, just return null, like this. Then I'll just open this up like that. Then I'll say what? Modal so inside this modal, I want to pass is open to be is open, like we always do, like that. And then onClose would be onClose, just like that. And then right after that, we want to set this div right here. Say class name. Then we set the class name to be w80, like this, right? Then we set the height to be what? h80, like this. Then once we are done, we can just come and pass in the image like this. So image alt, so the image alt like this. Then we say we want to pass it inside as what? Image, like this. Let's make sure we are importing our image. So next slash image, nice and clean. Then let's pass in our class name right here. Let's make it object contain. You can use object cover too if you want, but I just feel like object contain makes more sense, because like you obviously don't want to be using, you want to view the full resolution of the image, so why do you use object cover? I mean, like, you know, unless maybe you are going for some type of UI aesthetic or something. But yeah, that's just my opinion on that. So um yeah, so now that we have this, we can just refresh. And so yeah, so we just refresh like this. It should come to the side. You can test it out, so you can see how it just shows up like this. If we use object cover, you won't see every part of the image, so you can see. And to be honest, I don't think that makes any sense. So yeah, so objects contain and we should be good. So yeah, right after doing that, we need to now come and set up our loading states, and that is going to be the last part. So for the loading states, what we need is, we can go to the user box, for instance, and then we can just use that as our, you know, so we can just come here, go to the user, so just click on this. It should navigate us to that place. So we are here, then inside here, what we want to do is, we want to quickly close this up. Then we will wrap it around an empty fragment here. Okay, just like that. Then we can come here and basically come and set up. So we just say it's loading. So whenever it's loading, we want to say loading modal, just like that, right? Just like this. So loading modal, just like this. Then this loading modal that we have right here, right? This loading modal that we have right here, we are going to quickly create it in a second. So but before that, let's make sure that this handle click right here, we set its, so we say what, set is loading to be true, like this, right? So that should basically do it. And then inside our loading modal, let's quickly go into the components, so I can just collapse everything right here, and then we'll come to the components folder, and we can come and create our loading modal here. So loading modal .tsx, just like this. Then inside this loading modal, we see what RFCE. Let's make sure that it is a use client component. So let's say use clients, just like this. And right after setting it up like that, what you want to do is you can just come and create the elements or the components here. The first thing we need is transition, right? So transition, we are going to be getting that from the headless UI. So transition dot root, like that. Then we just close it up, and then inside this transition dot root, you're going to have to show and set that show to true, so it becomes constant. This value doesn't depend on anything outside here, right? Like this value only depends on the value of the is loading inside the previous file that that is this one, the users, the is loading that is set out here, right? And like a bunch of other factors that we are going to see later. So we can just set this show to true, and we say that this is going to be the as of fragment. So we just set it to fragment, and this fragment is going to have to come from React like this. Just imported it nice and clean. So so right after creating this fragment right here, we want to say dialog. So this dialog, we are going to have to import from lsui/react like that, right? Then we can basically close it up like this. Then we'll come inside and set it up as a div. So we say as, then we set it to be div. Then we can come here and say class name like that. So class name is going to be set to what? Relative like that. Relative, then z50, just like this. Alright, then after we can set the onclose, to be an empty function, so we can get, yeah, so you can just set it up like that. Then inside we are going to have another transition, so we say transition just like this, dot child like that, and then we close it up like this. Then nice. So inside here, what we are quickly going to do is we want to say as what. So we say as, then the as, we are going to do it fragment as usual, and we'll make sure that the enter prop becomes what? Ease out. Then duration, we set the duration to 300 like that. Then we can just come here and specify our enter from. Then the enter from is going to be opacity of 0 like that. Then we say what? Enter to is going to be what? Enter to is going to be 0, is going to be opacity of what? 100, just like that. And then we can just come here and see what? Leave. And then this leave is going to be what? An eden, right? So basically, whatever we set up like this, we just have to reverse it, right? So just come and paste that here again, change this to leave. This is going to be an ease in, and then we set the duration to 200, just like that, right? And then this leave, so say leave from is going to be opacity of 100, right? And then leave to is going to be opacity of 0, like that, right? So right after setting that up, what you want to quickly do is inside here you want to create this self-closing div. So div, and make sure that is self-closing like this. Then we pass in a few class names, so class name like that. Then we say what? Fixed insert 0, then bg gray 100, and then we say what? Bg opacity 50. So bg opacity 50, just like that. Alright, then over here we'll take this div right here, and then we'll set, so we'll say class name. So class name is what? Fixed insert 0, like that. Then z10, then we say what? Overflow y02, just like that. Then right after setting that up, we want to come inside it right here like this. Then you come and create another div, Then inside this div we say class name like this. Then inside this class name we say what, flex mean h full, like that, and we set it to be what, item center, then justify center, then p4, and then text center, like that. Alright, so that is it. Then we have dialog. Then this dialog, like this, we are going to set it to dialog.panel, like that. And then inside, what we are going to do is you're going to be passing in a loader called what, clip loader, like this, right? So clip loader like this. Then inside we can set the color to be, can just set the color to be what, let's make it 4. So we say 4A 9 8. Okay, so 4890E2, right? For I think I'm trying to remember the code. I think 4A90E2. Yeah, that should be it. Then right after we are done setting it up like that, we set the size to be 50, right? But you might ask yourself that where are we getting this clip loader from? And then where we are going to be getting it from is react dash spinners. So let us quickly say npm I react dash spinners, and then let's not forget our legacy peer depths, like this. So this is going to be installing. So while it's installing, we can just move on to more important stuff, and then at the end of the day, once we preview, everything should just come together. So the first thing we want to do is we want to set up our automatic loading functionality inside our NextJS, right? So for that, what we need to go into is one of the page files, or one of the routes. So you can go to somewhere like conversations, like this. Then inside the conversations here, we create a file called loading.tsx, like that. Then inside the loading.tsx, we see what, rafce, just like this. Then once we get these bad boys out here, all we need to do is to come and import our loading modal, just like this. Yeah, and then that should be it. Did we import this loading modal? No, we didn't. We need to import it as well, so we get rid of the error. And yeah, it should be installed by now. Okay, if it's okay, yes, it's actually installed, but I don't think it is bringing it inside for us. So let us manually import it by saying what, clip loader is going to be coming from react spinners, like this, nice and clean. So we have the clip loader coming from react dash spinners, like this. I really don't know why. Okay, well, that's weird. Didn't we just import, we didn't just install that, like in, I'm coming. Yeah, so clip loader, like this. And yeah, let me just paste it right here just to make sure. Alright, so that should basically do it for us. Okay, yeah, I actually just saved it. So right after, we can go back to our loading.tsx, like this, and then let's copy this thing that we just did here. And then we'll go into our users So we can go into our users right here, and then inside we can create a file called loading. Make sure it's small l, loading.tsx, like this, and then we can just paste like that, and make sure that it imported it the right way. Yeah, it did import it the right way. And yeah, and then yeah, that is basically it. So when we try to test our application, we can come here, so we can go into the conversations right here. Yeah, you can see the loading go on, and then once we want to enter another chat, you can see it load up before it displays the chat. Once the API is done calling, you can see that it can just display the chat like that. And this is our image. Yeah, image should show up. Let me just refresh, right? Let's just refresh everything, make sure that everything is stable enough, then we can now test it out. So yeah, so if we just refresh this, let's wait. Okay, so this is here, then we can go into this chat. You can see that the loading state changes, can come into the group chat, right? Can come into the group chat, the loading state would appear like that. Then we can send, we can say hey guys, who brought some baby oil? Yeah, then you laugh or something. I don't know how to write that. But yeah, so you can see we just sent those messages, but since it's not real time, we are not seeing it. If we refresh like this, you can see a message appear right here, and I can simply, I can just log out like this, and then log back in as nice user, and then come and see the conversation. So logging out, so it's logging out for us. Okay, then let's come back as nice user, then we say what, nice user, like this, try to log in, and we will go to the conversations, and then check out the Diddy party and be like, what are you talking about? Okay, yeah, so that's it. We can just send that, and like I said, since it's not real time yet, we have to refresh before we see the messages. Okay, I think it's still refreshing. So yeah, you can see this is it basically. So nice and clean. We have been able to set up these major features, and then in the next one we are going to be working on the real-time functionality. So thank you very much for getting to this part, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.